There's a concept in psychology called the crab bucket theory. You may have heard of it as crab mentality. It comes from a simple observation. If you place one crab in a bucket, it can easily climb out. But if you put several crabs in the same bucket, none of them will escape. Every time one tries to climb out, the others pull it back down. Not because they want to help, not because they think it's dangerous outside, but simply because no one else is getting out, and so you're not allowed to either. That's crab mentality. And sadly, people often behave the same way. When someone starts to grow, to rise, or change, the people around them may unconsciously, or sometimes consciously, pull them back down. They'll say things like, "Why are you acting different? You think you're better than us now? You've changed." And that's exactly the point. You have changed. You're trying to escape the bucket, but instead of support, you're met with resistance. Why this happens? What's interesting is that this crab mentality usually doesn't come from enemies or strangers. It often comes from the people closest to us, family, friends, coworkers, and it's not always obvious. Sometimes it's direct criticism. "You're dreaming too big. That's unrealistic." Other times it's more subtle, a sarcastic comment, a dismissive look, a sudden change in attitude when you start doing better. But where does this come from? The truth is, your growth reminds others of their own lack of growth. Your progress forces them to look at themselves, and that's not always comfortable. It's easier for them to pull you back down than to face their own fears or inaction. The emotional weight. And here's what makes it even harder. You actually care about these people. You love them. You value their opinions. So when they start pulling you back, it hurts. You begin to second-guess yourself. Maybe I am being too ambitious. Maybe I have changed too much. Maybe I should just slow down. Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine you've started waking up early to work on your goals. Maybe you're going to the gym, learning a new skill, or building a side project. You feel proud, energized, focused. Then someone close to you says with a smirk, "Wow, look at you, Mr. Perfect now, huh?" Or, "Why are you even doing all this? You used to be so chill." It sounds small, but it stings. That one comment can spiral into self-doubt. It plants a seed that maybe you're too different now. Maybe you're leaving others behind. And suddenly, your motivation fades. You start to feel guilty for improving your life. And over time, that guilt drains your energy. You stop taking action. You procrastinate. You feel emotionally exhausted. And you can't even figure out why. It's not always burnout from doing too much. Sometimes it's the emotional weight of being constantly pulled back by people who don't understand your growth. What keeps us in this bucket? We often stay in the crab bucket not because we want to, but because we're afraid. Afraid to be alone, afraid to be judged, afraid to lose connection with the people we've known for years. The truth is, many people would rather be accepted and miserable than happy and misunderstood. But that's not freedom. That's emotional prison. You can't keep shrinking yourself just to make others comfortable. Staying where it's safe doesn't allow you to grow. It keeps you in the same place, holding onto comfort at the expense of your own potential. How to escape the bucket. It's not easy, The resistance you face from others, especially those close to you, can feel overwhelming. You may start to feel like you're fighting a losing battle. Every step you take forward might be met with criticism or judgment, and it feels like the harder you try, the more they try to pull you back. But the truth is, breaking free is not about cutting people off. It's about making a conscious decision to stop letting others control your narrative. It's about realizing that your growth does not depend on anyone else's approval. So what do you do? First, recognize the pattern. Notice when people react negatively to your wins, your plans, or even your excitement. Second, accept that not everyone is going to understand your journey. Some people will never be able to see your potential because they're too focused on their own limitations, and that's okay. Their opinion of you is not your reality. But what if you chose to stay committed to your dream? Third, you have to make a decision to keep going, even when others pull you down. A great way to start is by taking small actions that are aligned with your vision, even if those actions seem small to others. Each step you take towards your goals will help build your confidence. Fourth, protect your energy. You don't need to explain or defend every decision. You're not selfish for wanting better. You're not arrogant for growing. And fifth, find a different environment, even if you have to build it yourself. Read new books, watch inspiring creators. Surround yourself with people who will lift you up, or at the very least, respect your journey. The real victory isn't in escaping the bucket. It's in learning to rise above the weight of others' opinions and beliefs. And even though the people around you may not always understand, you'll start to realize that your growth doesn't need to be validated by anyone else. It's your life, your journey, your freedom. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to dream bigger. You are allowed to outgrow the bucket. Keep climbing. Keep choosing yourself. Keep moving forward. And remember, you don't have to stay where you're not growing, even if that means being the first crab to make it out. I'm Christina, and if this message hit home for you, make sure to like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more inspiring content like this.